to all. Just as we did yesterday, I want to again just open this afternoon acknowledging the horrific incident that happened not far from here on Tuesday evening. It's horrific and it's shocking because it is so out of character for both this community but also for this county. And so to that end, I want to reinforce what has been shared by our police chief, that this is an incident that we continue to believe is both isolated and presents no risk to the public at large. I remain incredibly grateful to our police department, our first responders, for the work that they continue to do in this case. I have full confidence that our police department will bring to justice those who committed this crime, and I will continue to, along with Baltimore County, to provide all resources necessary to do so. As we support our police in that work, though, I think our coming together today is actually very important because we also are continuing the investments to improve our communities, to uplift our communities and our neighbors. And so I want to thank you all for joining us for yet another milestone in housing here in Baltimore County. I'm grateful to have many partners in that work with me here today. Chief among them, DHCD Secretary Jake Day. I know that he also has Greg Hare and several other members of his team with us. I have the leader of our team in housing, Terry Hickey, along with our own DHCD team. We have our administrative officer, DeAndrea Walker. We have our partner on the county council, Councilman Mike Ertel, Delegate Nick Allen, Jessica Clayton, representing Senator Chris Van Hollen. I must have Congress in the brain for some reason. I want to thank Brian Lopez and Joe Clark from Osprey Property Company being here. We have Scott Link and Jeff Paxton from Pax Development. Brian Wells is here from the Community Assistance Network. And Carmine D'Alessandro, who's the Senior VP for Chesapeake Insurance, is here representing their CEO, Mark Isaacson. And Carmine, if you want to join us as well, you're more than welcome. But again, as you can see, this work takes multiple partners. It takes dedicated commitment, but I'm proud of the ways in which that we are working together and coming together to change the paradigm of housing in Baltimore County. Over the last 6 years, we've had many successful accomplishments in our work, beginning with the elimination of source of income, discrimination by source of income with our Home Act here in Baltimore County, which subsequent to the passage of the Home Act in Baltimore County became the law in Maryland. During the pandemic, we created our Department of Housing and Community Development. We passed a foundational piece of housing legislation, have since created a housing opportunity fund, gone after vacant housing, put in differentiated tax structures. The list goes on and on and on. I said early when I ran for county executive that our VCA commitment was a floor and not a ceiling, and that we would not just meet but exceed the 1,000 affordable rental units required under the VCA by the end of 2027. Earlier this year, I joined many similar partners to announce the largest attainable housing deal in Baltimore County's history. We follow that up with a recent executive order that will require attainable housing receiving county funds to also include additional attainable housing units. And today, we come together to announce another exciting new multifamily housing community here at Loch Raven Overlook. This is a project that will feature 122 attainable housing units. 115 of those will count towards our VCA goal. And so while the prior deal was the largest in terms of total number of units, this is the single largest commitment we are making towards meeting our VCA goals. So it is a record breaker in its own right. We are excited and proud that these units will be preserved at affordable rates for 40 years. We are leveraging $8 million of ARPA dollars, as well as our partners from the state. And we thank them for providing strategic funding assistance. But money from our Housing Opportunities Fund is being put to good use at this property. Just for context, I would note that the former Days Inn site, or soon to be former Days Inn site, has been a challenge for this community. We would note that there were 461 calls for service last year alone. And so we are taking what has been a challenging location for the community, and we are turning it into a real community asset. we're turning this into a meaningful investment in public safety and an opportunity to invest in the Loch Raven commercial corridor. I believe strongly, and the data shows, that housing and workforce opportunities equals opportunities and growth for communities. It equals public safety for our neighborhoods, and it's how we prevent instances of crime, violence, and more, and it's how we move our communities forward. And so we are all in as we continue to change the paradigm of housing, not just in Baltimore County, but across the state. I'm grateful that I have such incredible partners in that work, many of whom are here today. And I know that together we can, and we must continue to invest in attainable housing for years to come. So again, I want to thank my partner in this work, a true leader in the area of attainable housing, Maryland DHCD Secretary Jake Day.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, good afternoon. It's so good to be here with you. And I just want to say, first of all, thank you, Mr. Executive, for calling attention to the big team at DHCD who does this work. I've got a couple of members of that team right here, including Kevin Baines, Director of our statewide state revitalization programs, Chief Legislative Officer Chuck Cook, and Assistant Secretary Greg Hare, who runs our Community Development Administration. But when you said, here's Jake Day, and he's also got Greg Hare, I thought you said gray hair. I'm not sensitive to that issue at all, but that's how I heard it.
I've got a little bit too.
A little bit. I've got more every day. But Mr. Executive, I want to take the opportunity also just to say congratulations on all you have done over the last 6 years in Baltimore County. You have been a partner, a fighter, a visionary, and a representative of what leadership in action looks like at the county government level. And I know you're going to take that same tenacity to Congress, and they could use it. So thank you for your service. Look, thanks for being an ally, Baltimore County. You have goals, much like we have goals for all of the state, to make sure that your families can choose to live here, that they can choose to live in attainable, affordable, fair, quality, dignified, safe housing. And the truth is, you got great employers, and those employers want their workforce to be able to live nearby. This is an example of the type of investment that the Moore-Miller administration is making to be your partner in those efforts. Yesterday, Governor Moore announced our state revitalization programs, a series of 7 programs, and that included an additional $500,000 in strategic demolition funds to knock down the old Days Inn building to build 122 attainable housing units. Look, we're really proud of the investments we're making all throughout Baltimore County to help make great places and to make affordable and attainable housing. There are 10 other projects that were awarded funds totaling $3.35 million in state revitalization program dollars. And that includes building facade improvements in Parkville and Overlay. That includes the redevelopment of the Pikesville Armory, very exciting project, as well as renovations at University of Maryland, Baltimore County. We are incredibly proud to support your vision, your efforts, and we believe that these impacts start a chain reaction of private investment, non-state dollars, non-county dollars, and ultimately private activity and jobs, which is what we're all after. It's how we get closer and closer to a better Baltimore County and a Maryland that leaves no one behind. So again, I want to say thank you, Mr. Executive. I also want to say thank you to all of my colleagues and partners up here. But I want to note that not a penny of that money would be available if it weren't for the legislators who went to Annapolis for 90 days every year and fought, and then came back home to their communities to hear what their neighbors are asking for and looking for and what those priorities are. And one of those partners that I get to work with every day and who is a stalwart advocate for the families that want to be able to pay their rent and live in safe communities is Nick Allen. So, Mr. Delegate.
Thank you very much. First of all, I just want to say thank you all for being here today. This is an exciting day in this area. I think it's a dose of well-needed good news for this area. So on behalf of myself and the rest of the District 8 legislative team, Senator Kathy Klausmeyer, Delegate Carl Jackson, Delegate Harry Bundari, I just want to thank you all for being here, because this is awesome news. This is awesome news for this area. This is awesome news for the community, and it's a really great first step into, like the county executive said, kind of changing the paradigm and how we approach and attack this problem of attainable housing in Northeast Baltimore County. I want to thank the county executive and Secretary Day as well for being not just great partners but leaders on this issue. I want to thank the governor as well for really taking charge. Last year during the legislative session, he had a number of bills that I was lucky enough to work on. It came to my committee, the Environment and Transportation Committee, and it actually came to my subcommittee as well, in the Housing and Real Property Subcommittee. So I was very proud to work very closely with Secretary Day and his awesome team, with the governor's awesome team. And this is really the first salvo in our overall strategy to change how we think about attainable housing in Baltimore County. And I could not be more excited. And like I said, it's the first step, but it's not the last. There's a lot more good things to come at the state and county level as well. We have incredible partners at the county level with Terry Hickey and Councilman Mike Ertel. And I'm just excited to celebrate this with you all today. And we're going to get back to work in January and keep fighting to make Baltimore County a better place and a more affordable place for everybody. So thank you very much, and I'm going to kick it over to my colleague, Mike Ertel.
Secretary, I just want to say I thought he said gray hair too, and I have more gray hair than you, so but I don't have gray hair on my staff. So, we often throw around the word transformative in government when we talk about projects, and this really is going to be a transformative project for the Loch Raven corridor. It gives us, it takes away, as you heard from the county exec, kind of a problem property that we've had here for a long time, and we're going to replace it with something that is, a beautiful building with a lot of stability, and it's also something that we'll be able to use as a building block to kind of work on this area, because we've had a lot of input from community people in this area that this area has long been neglected and things have been allowed to run down, and a lot of times it's the general cycle of how things go, but this is truly something we can start to build on, stabilize this part of Loch Raven Boulevard, and then start working on more from there. So it was when Osprey came to me to talk about the project, it was an easy one to say yes to, because we know that not only do we need more affordable housing, but also it's a win-win for everybody. So thank you for being here today, and I want to bring up Brian Lopez from Osprey Development, who is going to actually build this project.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Ertel, for your support and guidance through this process and to get the project to where it is today. And on behalf of Osprey and our partners, the Community Assistance Network and Pax Development, I just want to say how extremely excited we are to begin this project. I also want to acknowledge the significant contributions of County Executive Olszewski, who has been a strong advocate for our housing, not only as the county executive, but also while he was a delegate at the state level. And we look forward to watching him at the federal level as well. And also Secretary Day, whose persistence and dedication to creating housing opportunities resulted in record funding for these programs in Annapolis last year, making this project and many others around the state possible. So thank you to both of them for their leadership and unwavering commitment to affordable housing. It's because projects like this are only possible through strong partnerships with state and local governments. When we work together as partners, we can provide high quality housing for our local workforce that will create jobs, strengthen the community, and improve the lives of our residents. This development, Loch Raven Overlook, will remove an underutilized and decaying hotel and create 122 one, two, and three-bedroom apartments. These apartments will serve working families and individuals that are live and work in the county. And the location of the project is ideal. We're close to the Beltway, to major employers, and good schools, parks, and good transportation options around the county. This is also really the gateway into Loch Raven. This is what you see when you drive in. Loch Raven and the Towson community. We will build a now brand new, vibrant, beautiful building that will transform the entrance into the community. And we're also going to improve the streetscape as you come in. It'll begin transforming this corridor. This is a $55 million project which will bring economic stimulus to the area and will have a ripple effect spurring additional investment in the community. In addition to building the beautiful building that's going to help the aesthetics of the area, the project will have over 7,000 square feet of amenity space for our residents. We're also building approximately 3,000 square feet of a workforce training center. We're going to work with our partner CAN and others to create a job training program that will be available to our residents and the community. Again, we are grateful for the opportunity to build here in Baltimore County, and we look forward to being a strong part of the Loch Raven community. So with that, again, I'd like to thank the state and the county for their support and their contributions to this project. But I want to introduce the man who is really the one responsible for making this opportunity a reality. This is the director of the Baltimore County Department of Housing and Community Development, who is definitely one of the best advocates for affordable housing and attainable housing in the state. He never stops looking for ways to create affordable housing opportunities and to solve problems. He's helped to educate many policymakers at the county level, at the state level, as to what affordable housing really is. And his creativity on deals is invaluable. He's passionate about his job, and he's made amazing things happen here in the county. So I wanted to introduce Terry Hickey.
Not good to get somebody choked up before they give official remarks. But this is a personal project, and I'll start out by saying that. It does feel very personal, and I'm honored to be standing here today with the future site of Loch Raven Overlook right over my shoulder, surrounded by my county executive, my county administrative officer, Secretary Day, Councilman Ertel, and a host of partners that really put the time into this. This project represents a lot of things, but it represents collaboration and let it be known, hard work. I want to thank the team at DHCD, my team, the team at the state, and colleagues across any number of county agencies who really did the heavy lifting behind the scenes to get us here. And getting here wasn't any small feat, particularly, as you know, in an economic climate that's been historically challenging to do big-scale development like this. You know, when our partners at Osprey, Pax, and CAN approached the county with the concept, we knew right away it had promise, it had all the right ingredients. But you know that a vision of this scale does not happen in reality without support from the top, without real support. Our county executive believed in this project from the very beginning and provided his advocacy and investment to help make it happen. Similarly, Secretary Day and his team bought into that vision, allocating significant state resources to make this possible. And then Councilman Ertel, who's been a partner all the way through, championed this effort in the council chambers and in the outside community, which is hugely important. And I really need to recognize our host here today, Chesapeake Employers Insurance, Carmine. I can't say it enough. Having a corporate partner and a major employer in this county stand up and support a project like this with the passion they have means a lot. And I want to challenge other corporate partners to start to do the same. We need you. We're thrilled this project has public support, which it does, but we're not surprised. While we celebrate the 122 new apartments that we're going to provide for county residents, Loch Raven Overlook stands for something more. It represents a major step in the revitalization of this commercial corridor and an investment in this community. And as you've heard, one that's going to attract more investment over time. Future residents of Loch Raven Overlook, teachers to public safety personnel to retail and trade workers, they're going to find a place they can afford to call home while accessing this area's highly rated schools, high-class amenities, and nearby jobs. And employers are going to benefit from this pool of local talent. When done right, housing represents a rising tide that lifts all ships. Loch Raven Overlook is that type of project. And there's more to come. In the midst of a national housing crisis, Baltimore County has been extremely fortunate to benefit from 6 years of leadership under a county executive who has really, truly made housing a priority. I want to take this opportunity to thank him for the support that he's provided. And we commit as a team to carrying on his legacy by seeing this development through to the end and continuing to do the hard work necessary to ensure the county residents have access to the housing and the communities that they deserve. Thank you.